Please be seated. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Ward. You know Mr. Ward is the Prime Minister representing for Region 7. Okay? I have with me members of Parliament. Lee Williams, he spoke to you earlier. Alistair Charlie spoke to you earlier. And Mr. Schumann, you just listened to him. Mayor and Deputy Mayor, Regional Health Officer, Regional Education Officer, Regional Executive Officer, and the Commander for Police Division 7, Assistant Commissioner Moore. And you know, I always start any address at BARTICA by saying that, you know, Region 7 is controlled by 2 wards, if you understand what I mean. I guess some people didn't get it. The 2 wards, Region 7 is controlled by 2 wards, right? Region 7 is in good hands, the hands of the wards. First of all, let me thank you for coming out. I know the weather is not too good, and today is a working day. Today is a business day. Children at school, people who run the businesses have to be at the place of business, and yet you people found the time to come out for this interaction. Okay? As somebody mentioned, we started the campaign yet, but what is important is that we have political outreaches and interaction with our communities, because between now and the 4th of September, there's still a few things that we would like to implement. You know, when we took office on the 2nd of August, right, we literally hit the ground running, because we went to the people before, and we went to the people to listen to the people and to put together the manifesto, the PPPC manifesto, the People's Progressive Party Civic Manifesto that we went to the election in 2020 with. Now, your recommendations were incorporated into that document, and that document was the blueprint, the guide that we use to implement all the programs and projects that you wanted for your community, that you wanted for your region, that you wanted for Guyana. And we're at a stage today where we like to report to you. I mean, we don't want to say 100% completed, but we're somewhere in the upper 90s in terms of completion. Right? So if you're going to mark us as A++. But there's still a few finishing touches, because we promised 5 years of development. And we took office on the 2nd of August. So we still have the remainder of June, July, and August. And we want to go right down to the day of election, or the day before election, implementing and doing the little extra programs and projects, right? That we, on election day, could say we have achieved 100%. That is what we promised to you, the people of Guyana, and that is what we will deliver to you, the people of Guyana. 5 years of development, 5 years of growth, 5 years of transformative development and growth. And no community, no region was left behind. And Region 7 is a testament to that, because whatever we did along the coastline, we did in the hinterland. And you would have listened to some of the points made by the previous speakers. You talk about infrastructure development, roads. We didn't just build roads in the coastline, we built roads in the hinterland. Many hinterland communities now have asphalted roads, concrete roads, and many of those roads were constructed by the people in those communities. They had the force lien on the contract, and if they didn't have the expertise to get a contract, we made a proviso that that is a condition that you must employ people from the region. If they cannot do the contract outright, they must be among the employees. So the village economy can benefit. This is what the PPPC government did over the last 5 years. 5 years of transformative development to the people of Guyana. If you have a road in BARTICA that was not done, just let me know before I leave here of that road, so we could get it done before elections. If there's any other project that you feel we didn't pay much attention to, just let me know. And I'll make a note and take it to His Excellency. And by the way, His Excellency, our President, has sent his blessings to you, the people of BARTICA, and he will come again long before the 4th of September to have a similar engagement with you, the people of BARTICA. You know, I can give you or go through a list of many things that we did, but I want to just keep it broad, right? So the development was not just about the hard side of things, roads, schools, hospitals, health centers, housing development, but the softer side we also paid attention to, the human side. You know, and a lot of people like to talk about cost of living and cost of living going up. But I'll be the first to tell you and to agree with you. Yes, cost of living went up. Since I was a little boy, since I learned to read the newspaper, I've been reading about cost of living going up. There was never a time in my life that cost of living never went up. What is important is what we did as a government to prevent the cost of living from going through the roof or to cushion the effects of cost of living. And I like to remind people of some of the programs that we have implemented. In 2021, 2022, and 2023, when gasoline, dieseline, and kerosene price went through the roof, some 62% increase in fuel prices throughout the world. When many countries, the people were protesting, what did we do in Guyana? We removed the taxes from fuel so we could stabilize the price of fuel. We told GPL to give us the information as to the costs that will be associated with the increase in fuel. And we found the money and handed it over to GPL to cushion what would have been an increase in electricity. So every Guyanese, including you at BARTICA, you have not paid any increase, not by 1 cent, from what you were paying before COVID-19 for electricity. And if you pay more for electricity, just give me your name and your house, and I will deal with it because GPL falls under me. It's the same rate you've been paying for electricity before COVID-19, it's the same rate you continue to pay, notwithstanding the price of fuel went up sky high. At the pumps, we remove, as I mentioned before, remove the taxes. So whatever increase you pay is associated with the transportation cost of bringing the fuel into Guyana and then distributing it and retailing it to every community. Government has removed all the taxes. And in fact, today, the price of fuel has gone down a little bit. I don't know if you're already feeling the effect, but at the pump in Georgetown, you pay a little less for fuel than you've been paying just about 2 to 3 months ago. We have not only talked about one Guyana, where development must come to every community, every village, every region, every town, Notwithstanding who you voted for, we focus on developing and bringing development to all the people of Guyana because we're interested in increasing the life and livelihood of people of Guyana. We didn't only talk about that, we also implemented policies to ensure you share in the prosperity of Guyana. Everybody talk about oil and gas. You hear some people on the coastline, you know, in talking our Creole, they say we got oil now. No, we got oil now means a lot. Depends on who you're talking with. But some people, it's raised expectations. Because you have oil now, that is the solution for everything. That is how some people interpret it. But as a government, we are more interested in using the revenue and spread it evenly so every Guyanese can benefit from it. And that's why we came up with the concept of shared prosperity. So only yesterday we opened a brand new hospital at Diamond. And we have 5 other such hospitals being constructed at different locations in Guyana. We're retrofitting the hospitals in the interior too. We built some 24 health centers throughout the length and breadth of Guyana on the coastline and the hinterland because we believe that you must have free health services. And it must not only be free, the service itself must keep improving. And we must move from just doing some basic surgeries to some of the complex surgeries, so complex interventions, right? And we have a situation in Guyana now where people are coming from neighboring countries and in the Caribbean. They come in to get sick in Guyana so they could benefit from those services. It is happening, right? So there has been improvement in the health sector. Housing, we promised 50,000 house lots. We've surpassed 50,000 house lots. And we have people here in Bartica who also got house lots. Isn't that so, Mr. Ward? Yes, Pierre. Right? We have house lots given out in Bartica. Energy, we promised energy security. We recognize that there are problems in the Demar-Boris interconnected system. There are problems in the standalone isolated systems like at Bartica. And what we did, we bought new generators. We also expended money in renewable energy, and you have a brand new solar farm generating just over 1 megawatt of electricity. And by my last calculation, and based on the advice that I have from GPL, is that today we have more electricity being generated in Bartica than we can take off. But yet you have communities like Dark Point. While we issue out the household solar equipment, so every household have a solar panel, and they have a battery, and they have lights, and they could charge a cell phone. We want to go further than that. A community like Dark Point, we deem it still an unserved community, and we could attach that or connect that community to the grid that you have here in Bartica. And that is something we want to do. And any other community that can be attached to that grid, we will get it done. Okay? So these are some of the little things, some of the little mop-up or mopping-up projects that we intend to do between now and the elections. So thank you for bearing with us. Ours is a government that not only speaks about development, we also want to work with you to implement all those plans, all those projects, all those programs. So you in your community could derive the benefits. We could improve your lives and livelihood. $100,000, every Guyanese, 18 years and above, got $100,000 this year. And if you don't get yours yet, it's your own fault, if you're Guyanese. Because you could still go to the RDC or the NDC office and register and get your $100,000. And it is not a one-off pay. In other words, it's not you get $100,000 in 2025 and that is it. There are more coming in 2026. But I can tell you if it can still be 100,000. I just like you, I hoping for betterment. Right? The because we care, and I like to use the because we care because I believe that those who forget the past, you know, a certain professor or philosopher said it many years ago, those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want you to repeat the past. We want you to remember what was done to you. And once you remember and it's etched in your memory, that will help you to make the right decision at the right time. Before oil and gas, listen carefully, in 2014, the PPPC government, that's long before I entered politics. Long before I entered politics. I used to wear a uniform in 2014, if my memory serves me right. And then I retired in 2016. But the PPPC government in 2014 decided that they will pay $10,000. They were already paying $4,000 for uniform for every child. And they decided that they will give an additional $10,000 for every child in school, nursery school, primary school, secondary school. The only requirement, the child had to be registered as attending the school. And we paid that in 2014. We had an election in 2015, free and fair election. We had a couple of parties that came together, formed a coalition. They went to the election. As you recall, they went in 2011, and they were in opposition, but they were the majority when it comes to voting. And then they came together as a coalition and went to the 2015 election. They won the election in 2015. And when they were preparing their budget, their first budget in 2015, during the budget debates, they were asked what happened and if they're going to continue the $10,000 per child because we care. And they said no. And the reason they gave is that they had no fiscal space, meaning they couldn't find the money. At that time, it cost $1.6 billion to pay the because we care, $10,000 per child. But they couldn't find the money. But when you peruse or you examine the budget, the same $1.6 billion was spent on providing food and drinks for many government offices and many members of parliament during the sit-ins. But they could not have found that money to pay the children. And every year thereafter, while they were in office, they did not. They refused to find that 1.6. So, if you had a child in school, 2015, and that child left school, let's say 2020, 2021, that is 10,000 in 2015, 10,000 in 2016, 10,000 in 2017, 10 in 2018, 10 in 2019, right? We ain't counting 2020 yet. So for the 5 years, they denied your child $50,000. And you must not forget that. And one of the reasons, perhaps the most important reason you must not forget it, we went to the 2020 election, and in our manifesto, we said clearly, once elected, we will restart the cash grant. We got elected, we won the elections. The elections were the 2nd of March 2020. By the 3rd of March, close the business. We knew that we won the elections because we had the statements of polls in our possession. The PNC or APNU had their statements of polls, the same statement poll that we had. And anybody who got a statement is supposed to do one thing, just do a tally or add up. And we add up, and we knew that we won the election by close of business on Tuesday, the 3rd of March. And you all know, because you all lived through it, for 5 months, we had a political organization that formed a coalition and decided to hold on to government. We formed the government, we were allowed to form the government after a whole legal process, but democracy prevailed. People finally wake up and decide that, look, at the end of it, we have to respect the rule of law in Guyana. We formed the government the 2nd of March, the 2nd of August. And between the 2nd of August to December, we not only produce a budget, but we replace the because we care. And we didn't replace it at $10,000. We put it at $15,000. So in 2020, you get it back at $20,000, at $15,000, and you get the $4,000 for uniform. What we also put in our manifesto is that every year it will increase, and we've kept our promise. We've increased that money every year, and this year, just a few days ago, in fact ended last week, Friday, we paid $50,000 per child and $5,000 for the uniform. That's $55,000 per child. That's a simple story to make the point. Do not forget the past. And remember that as a government, when we make a promise to you, the people of Guyana, we will work over time to ensure that we deliver on that promise. That's what we're about. Development for all the people of Guyana. We went around to communities. We listened to people. And some of the older folks like myself, or not so old. Because some people look like people here, they can't stomach you calling them old. So they prefer to be termed as seniors or not so old or whatever. And one of the issues affecting a number of people at my age group is the issue of their kidneys, and they have to do dialysis. What we did as a government, we know dialysis is costly. We work with many of the private and public hospitals to increase the the number of stalls that they have available for people to do dialysis. And we made a decision, $600,000. And that's now $600,000 every year for everybody who has to do dialysis. 600,000 Guyana dollars. These are things that never happened before in Guyana. Cancer screening. We have a voucher for $8,000. You just collect the voucher, you walk in to any hospital or health center that is capable of doing the screening, and you do the screening for free. $2,000 to do your eye check. If you're a student at school or you're a senior, you have $2,000, you do an eye check. And if they say that you need glasses, you go and you get another voucher for $15,000. Am I correct? $15,000. Right? And then in the last budget, $10,000, a voucher of $10,000 to do medical checkup. You could add wherever you want to add it, and you could do a whole complete medical checkup. You know, there are some hospitals advertising complete medical checkup for $25,000. With your $10,000, all you got to do is put $15,000 more. But then you could also use the $10,000 and do what you consider to be, you and your doctor, of course, consider to be the important checks you want to do for the $10,000. If you're working overtime, you get the first, I think it's the first $50,000 tax-free. Right? All these are in the budget. When we took office, the threshold was $65,000, the income tax threshold. And we decided we're going to increase it. Today, it has been increased by 100%. From the 2nd of August 2020 till now, it has moved from $65,000 to $130,000. So if you're working for $130,000 or less in Guyana, you don't have to pay any income tax on your salary. And the people who fall in the category just above that, we've reduced it from 28% to 25%. There's a long list. There are a long list of things, of promises that we made to our people. And we have implemented those promises. When we took office, there were some 200 taxes and fees that were increased in Guyana. The man with the horse-drawn cart, he moved from paying $1,500 to $8,000 a month to register his horse-drawn cart. And we removed all those because we felt that was like punishing the small man. We removed all those taxes and all those fees because we are interested in ensuring more money, more disposable income remains in the pocket of you, our people of Guyana. So those are some of the measures, and I know there are more. There's a long list. If I give you the entire list, I'll be here all day. But the message is what is important. Ours is a government that will stand by the people. Ours is a government that is a people-centered government. We listen to the people and we design the programs and the projects. We make policy after listening to the people. And therefore our policy will always be people-centered. And we deliver on those plans for the benefit of all the people of Guyana. Don't let nobody drive fear in you because you decide to support the PPPC. I'm a supporter of the PPPC. After I retired from the military, and you know in the military I could not have taken sides. I had to be apolitical. After I retired from the military, I became free to do whatever I want with my life, politically and perhaps otherwise. But my wife is not here, so I have to be a bit guarded when I say the other things I could do. But definitely politically, I could do whatever I want with my life. And I decided that I will be a supporter of the PPPC government because of the policies, the programs, the principles, and what they stood for in Guyana. And that's why I'm here as your Prime Minister. I am standing on those policies, standing on those principles, and standing tall and proud. So don't let nobody drive fear in you or try to persecute you because you decide that you are a supporter of the PPPC. The PPPC means development for Guyana. The PPPC means the defense of Guyana's sovereignty. The PPPC means upholding democracy in Guyana. That is what keeps us going every day. And that is what we will go to the election come the 4th of September. With another manifesto, a manifesto that you have an opportunity to contribute to because we have a WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp portal where anybody, because almost every Guyanese now with a cell phone is on WhatsApp, and you could contribute. You could make all the suggestions and recommendations, and we'll take all those suggestions on board as we craft our manifesto for the next period of development in Guyana. Because you know the election is the 4th of September. After election, development continues, right? So what we did from 2020 to 2025, I would consider as the first phase of development of the President, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali's government. And when we go to the elections, And trust me, I am confident that we will be given a second term by you, the people. I'm not complacent. I'm confident that you will give us a second term based on what we delivered to you in this first term. And once we get that second term, it's a second 5 years of development for all the people of Guyana and all the people in Region 7, and more particularly in BARTICA. So whatever we achieve with you over the last 5 years, we have 5 more years of development coming. You keep us in office, and we will keep bringing development to your community. The PPPC is a party for all seasons and all reasons. The old can come and join and support us. The young can come and support us. Women can come in and support us. And we accept people who might have had cause to be associated with other political parties. Come over. We welcome you with open arms, because we want to benefit from what you are bringing to us. Because once you come and join us with your talent, with your skills, your experience from all the wider fields that you would have served in, it amounts to more development, more critical minds, more hands to the plow, so the wider Guyanese society will benefit. So join with the PPPC and let us continue to develop Guyana. And as usual, when I finish speaking, I want to hear you speak. So you will have the mic, raise all the suggestions, all the concerns you want. And I have my notebook here. This notebook is specially for that, to take all the concerns from all the communities and relay them to our President, Dr. Mohamed Ali, and our General Secretary of the PPPC, Dr. Barra Jagdeo. Thank you for listening to me.